Today, you'll learn how to turn corporate giving into something employees can actually use and how to make modern platforms like Ignite, Give at Work, make CSR accessible for every company, not just the giants. So stay to the end for 5 moves that you can roll out this quarter. And if this helps, follow the advisor with Stacey Chillemi on Apple, Spotify, and subscribe on our YouTube at Stacey Chillemi Advisor and drop a 5-star review so leaders can find it. Now, my guest today is a very special guest. I'm very excited to have her today. And her name is Katie Wilson, and she is from StratusLIVE. She's focused on making the workplace a given, simple, personal, and transparent place. Welcome so much, Katie. I'm so excited to have you here. Tell everybody a little about yourself.
Thanks so much, Stacey. I'm glad to be here. So, my name is Katie Wilson. I'm a digital marketing manager at StratusLIVE, like you mentioned. And like you were saying, I'm passionate, especially this time of year, about employee giving. And I thought I'd come on and give a little insight into maybe what employee giving is, or maybe how someone could get started if they sort of know what it is, but they want to see if their own company does something like that.
Right. This is really exciting to me because, you always hear about people talking about making money, but you never hear about people, frequently talking about giving back. And I love the concept. Now, what's the biggest shift you've seen in the CSR and workplace given over the last few years?
So over the last few years, we've definitely seen, of course, technology get a little better. And even for ourselves, we really boomed in 2022 with some workplace giving technology. And we want to make sure that that's something that's really accessible to not only our nonprofits that we work with, but
Yeah.
their corporate partners as well. So something that's accessible and then also easy for those employees to go on and either put their credit card in or deduct from their payroll and to be able to give. So it's sort of like a frictionless experience. I've
Yes.
seen, especially with what we've heard, trends within our own clients and just out on the road, ways to make that even more simpler and also like ways to trying to find ways to access maybe different types of nonprofits or smaller nonprofits, bigger nonprofits, maybe just getting people ramped on way faster. So that's something that we've really tried to get the answer for is just like trying to find a more accessible way to bring more nonprofits on and those employees to be able to sort of like give that frictionless gift to nonprofits that really speak to them and that they really find like similar values in.
Oh, I love that. Now, employees want impact they can see. What does that mean in practice?
So they want to see that what they are giving is specifically, and I would say not even employees, but just like those consumers or the typical person, they
Yeah.
want to see what they're giving is driving that specific impact to that nonprofit. I think
Yeah.
we all sort of feel that in one way or another. And so I think that really cool ways that people can show that impact, especially when you're doing employee giving. I mean, there's so many different ways you can go about that within your workplace, but I know that people do, like department versus department kind of like competitions, and
Hmm.
you're seeing, that impact, the amount that you're giving grow.
Right.
You also, I think that it's really important for nonprofits, like that after they're, receiving, especially this time of year, fall time, after they're
Yeah.
receiving maybe a lot more gifts than usual to send out those thank you notes that specifically say like this is the impact that you gave. So you maybe it's for a food bank or an animal shelter. This amount that you gave, $10 helped us give this dog like food for the next week and some toys or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
So I think that that is really important, but also um, no, I'll just I'll leave it at that and we can move on to the next.
Yeah, I think it's so important that you respond and it shows an act of appreciation and gratitude, and that goes a long way. That's like, I think people, knowing that they did something good and then being, thanked in a way of showing gratitude is huge. And I think that really goes a long way, and it definitely makes a difference. Definitely. Now, when it comes to participation used to be an HR in the checkbox, like what's driving participation today?
Well, I think that first and foremost, I think that a lot of us are values-driven people. So we look for that in the company that we're working at as well. So
Yeah.
of course, there's one I think that at the end of the day, we just want to see that the company that we work for has similar values to us. Are they giving back to their community? And I think that this is a big way for us to do it. I think that if we're not necessarily sure that our company is doing that, we can, of course, reach
Mhm.
out to our HR and just say, hey, do y'all do this? And honestly, this a lot of the time is something that is offered. And maybe it was on onboarding, but so many things happened that day that you just forgot that that was an option.
Yeah,
And so being able to sort of check in with HR and say, are y'all doing this? How are you approaching this?
right.
Is the first step, and don't be scared to do it, because I think that you'll find probably something's already set up, or if not, that's going to really that would probably excite the HR person saying,
Yeah.
oh, I thought about this, but I didn't know if anyone on the company would be interested in doing this. Do you want to work with me to get it started?
I love that. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think sometimes, people are just afraid to try something new, but when they have a company like yours who just get them started, showing them how to begin, giving them all the tools they need, it makes it so much easier. And I think it encourages companies to actually take the next step, which is pretty exciting.
I'm totally with you. I think that, ease of starting up, we all feel that, especially right now. We just want
Yeah.
something to, of course, we want it to work, and we know in the back end that our stuff works, and it's going to connect
Yeah.
those donors to the nonprofit, and it's going to make sure that those corporations know who their employees are giving, but it's also like the experience for those employees to go on and they see the logo of their company giving toward potentially a nonprofit that they really, really feel strongly about. Like that's
Yeah.
such an impact.
I love that. Now, for a company with no program or that's just like stalled, what is your first 30-day step?
So what I would say is for the company specifically, so not talking about the nonprofit, I would say that what we would want to do is, first of all, maybe get like a committee together, a couple of
Mhm.
people that are super values driven from a few different departments, and get a temperature check on what's going on. Maybe y'all had a campaign and not really that many people gave. Maybe
Yeah.
people know kind of like why. I think also we all love a little friendly competition. So I would
Yeah.
say we start up some sort of a departmental competition. We raise awareness maybe for the nonprofit. Maybe instead of all of us giving to the nonprofit, like one specific nonprofit of our choosing, the
Yeah.
company itself, maybe we identify a nonprofit, raise awareness for that, and really get people behind that sort of value of specifically giving to something inside of their community. I think
Yeah.
that those like competition and giving back to one awareness raising group would
Mhm.
be really beneficial for some of those people that might be kind of lagging in that giving. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. Now, simplicity it always comes first. Now, what does a friction-free given journey look like for employees?
I would say that we give out, of course, as many times as possible, that link that's already been set up through HR for
Mhm.
that giving experience.
Yeah.
That link is something where they're going on and they're just giving. Maybe there's not like a ton of stuff they have to fill out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, hey, I want this amount deducted for my payroll, and like that's all they have to do. I think
Right.
as easy as we make it as possible, that's how, we keep that frictionless.
I love that. Now, how do you match causes to each employee without overwhelming them?
That's a great question. I believe um, s- we all work in different communities and we kind of see how maybe a group from our specific community could benefit from something that sort of aligns with the same values that we're bringing with whatever service that we're doing as
Yeah.
employees. And so being able to match something that's already kind of underlying like a similar community value prop, I think makes it a little easier for companies. We also, StratusLIVE does a lot of work with United Ways, and their approach is this, right? So you give to United Way, and they already have really great relationships with smaller nonprofits in their community. And so they're able to take those funds and give them to some smaller nonprofits that maybe don't have as much awareness or whatever, but it's still something that impacts the community greatly.
I love that. Now, what do donors and admins, need to trust the process?
I think that we just need to have really good relationships, a corporation with a nonprofit, or maybe that nonprofit to have a good relationship with whatever tool they're using. So let's say a nonprofit is using StratusLIVE Give It Work. Has that tool been set up like months in advance? Have we kind of done some testing on that before it's given out to the rest of the group, so
Yeah,
that someone is seeing that this has been really thought out well for them and that they are that the employer itself is taking this program really seriously.
I love that. Now, when it comes to engagement mechanics like match and volunteering, payroll, peer campaigns, what moves need kind of move the needle?
So we see that it kind of depends on what that employer does. So
Yeah,
it sort of depends on what company you're working for and what
right.
works for y'all. But I would say that from what we see, those campaigns, those end of year campaigns, I think
Yeah,
nowadays people really kind of depend on seeing that come up for the year, and
yeah,
they might be waiting for that to happen. So if it's not happening, well, let's get that happening. But if
yeah,
it is, um, what are we doing to maybe make that impact greater? And
right.
what we need to remember is that a lot of the time, employers are going to match those donations. And I
Yeah,
think that that's something that's so understated for a lot of people, or maybe people don't know that they could
yeah,
give to a cause and their employer will likely match what they're giving. And so
right.
your $10 becomes 20, or your $100 becomes $200, or
Yeah,
you're all giving to one group and they're matching that, up to $5,000. Well, my goodness, like I would love to join my team in making sure that we're getting up to whatever that goal is so our company can also match that gift. Like I would love nothing more.
yeah, for sure. Now, what about small or mid-sized companies? How do they start without a big CSR team?
I think that that's a great question. A lot of where some of this, I believe, should come in is from the nonprofit itself. I think that if we have tools in place to give that product or give that like giving page in a more accessible way,
Yeah.
then we can kind of, as a nonprofit, maybe, well, I'm the technology, but let's say as a nonprofit, we're giving out we're giving out some education for those companies of um, we would love to partner with you. I know that y'all might feel like you're smaller and you can't make an impact, but that's not true at all. I mean,
Yeah.
we could try to match you up with the best program that we have, and kind of putting that on the nonprofits to make sure that they have those corporate relations in the best way, rather than having to, either employee or employer trying to go out and find the best solution. I think what we do is we find someone that we know is doing it well, and we try to get in where we can with that.
Oh, I love that. Now, give us the plain English tour. Like, what is Ignite? Like, give at work, or how does it simplify life for HR and payroll and admin?
Of course. So uh, Ignite Give It Work. It is a product that has gone from something that we have a product that is specific for sort of those enterprise groups that
Yeah.
they just need a lot of complexity, right? And that's
Right.
just not accessible for smaller mid-size groups. And
Right.
so what we're doing is sort of bridging that gap. We have templates within our site for
Yeah.
those groups to come in and build those Give It Work campaigns in a templatized way.
Yeah.
So there's just less time for, HR groups or maybe the admin within those nonprofits to spend time on getting that done. Now
Yeah.
there's still those connections in the back end for those groups, like the company is going to know who has, made those workplace giving
Yeah.
gifts. The nonprofit knows who's given or how much that company has given. But the process in the back end is templatized, and it's kind of like a quick setup. We already have that, ready to go for you. And all you really do is sort of like fill out the forms that you need to fill out to, for any of us to get anything started,
Yeah.
and then we can kind of get to work from there. And within our Ignite Give It Work as well, we hope to also create more of like um, sorry, I'm trying to think of what we call it. We try to create more of a space for smaller nonprofits or mid-sized nonprofits to add themselves into sort of like our nonprofit hub, to
Yeah.
be able to put themselves on there and essentially be selected. So let's say someone does go on and they're searching for a nonprofit that they like, for that nonprofit to show up and for them to select that one and give back to that nonprofit. So what our hope is that it's a much more simple, streamlined process that takes
Yeah.
a little less time from not only HR but the admin from those nonprofits as
Right.
well.
Oh, I love that. Now, what metrics matter for leadership and for employees?
So I'll start with employees. I believe that metrics that matter is making sure that those employers are matching those donations if they've said that they've matched the donations. I
Right.
believe the other metric that is really important is, of course, just how much, and if we can work with those nonprofits to know what that impact is, like we were talking
Yeah.
about earlier, for
Hmm.
us to be able to draw those comparisons with how much did this company as a whole give,
Right.
and what did that do for our community? I mean,
Yeah.
how beautiful is that? I believe for, maybe the leadership team of those
Yeah.
corporations, I think what matters is the, of course, relationship to that nonprofit itself. So how are we
Mhm.
able to really maintain that great working relationship? Of course, the
Right.
impact to the community matters for them as well, but the metric, that we think about for those leadership is, um, did our employees find value through us
Yeah.
continuing this? Like how much are employees coming back to us and saying, I really felt like I was making a difference doing this through our corporate campaign, or I
Mhm.
feel so good that our company has done this for our community. So I
Yeah.
think that we go back to, we need to rely on those values, and how much morale has boosted throughout.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Now, how do you keep it clean without creating more work?
That's a great question. So, as a corporation, keeping that clean, I would say that it's all again about the people that you partner with. So what
Yeah.
nonprofits are you partnering with? Can
Hmm.
we maybe find a group that, of course, aligns again with the values of this corporation? Or
Yeah.
can we find a way to allow our community members or our employees to
Yeah.
give to what they want to give to? And how can we also support that? So let's say that someone, let's say a smaller corporation, they decide, well, we want to just help giving with our specific one-on-one person
Yeah.
to nonprofit. How can you make that work for that person?
Oh, I love that. Now, can you share a favorite example where simplification kind of unlocked participation?
Of course I can, but I do need I have some testimonials here.
Hmm.
Okay. So for many organizations, Ignite Give It Work was the turning point for their digital transformation. So we work with United Way in southeastern Michigan, and they improved like their data tracking within. So what's coming in from these employees, and how can we use that data to better serve them in the future? They
Right.
also it helped with outreach. And it also helped with the quality of fundraising across the board. The
Yeah.
two of us spoke earlier about um, not only like the recurring giving, but also like how often are people able to really raise awareness for some groups. And I think
Yeah.
that that's a transformative part of these campaigns of being able to raise that awareness and also give the opportunity. Oh, now I know about this group. Maybe I do want to give monthly.
Yeah. I love that. Now, what is like one feature companies overrate?
I would say an overrated feature. I would honestly like sometimes it's just the flashiness or maybe something that's the gimmicks, honestly. Let's
Yeah.
get back to basics and what truly matters. So make
Yes.
sure that what you're getting out of your technology is, true giving, true
Hmm.
metrics that are coming back to
Yeah.
you to all people. I think the metrics going back, of course, to those corporations. The metrics are going back to the nonprofits. The metrics of impact are coming back to those that have
Yeah.
given. I think that that's actually understated, and where some gimmicks are a little more flashy
Yeah.
are, they might be fun for this year, but it's just not something that'll stick. So stick with things that are the classics.
Right. I love that answer. Now, what's one feature that they underrate?
Again, I would say I would say that it is the reporting and the ease of reporting because everything at this point in our lives, it's 2025, everything does have some form of a reporting, but what kind of dashboards are they giving you? Like, are you able to view those metrics in an easy way, in an accessible way? That is, I believe, something that in the front end you don't think about until you get
Yeah.
to the end of that campaign when you realize, oh, all of this data is kind of everywhere, and I don't have a dashboard to specifically go through and truly
Yeah.
see the impact of what I've done this year and maybe even compare this year to last year.
Right. Oh, that's such a great answer. Now, what's the best way to launch, when you have like, maybe less than or more than 250 employees?
I would say that the best way to launch is honestly just get started, send that link, maybe have a group meeting where y'all talk about why this is important to the values of your company
Hmm.
and make sure that that link that you're sending out for
Mhm.
that workplace giving has been something that's been tested and it's, easy to navigate.
Yeah.
That's where you start, just start with communicating with your group of employees and talk to them about why this matters to your values and talk to them about how you hope that this helps align with their values as well.
Oh, I love that. Now, what's the most common admin mistake to avoid?
I believe it is just making things a little overcomplicated. So uh, let's just kind of, peel back and go to the basics of making sure what exactly are we putting on maybe these forms that are
Yeah,
getting us where we need to be. So I think sometimes a mistake that I see is potentially putting on too many maybe like questions
right.
for an employee to answer, and that might drive them away from really wanting to continue on with giving that donation, right? Like we want, name, email, employee ID, maybe,
Mhm.
get some of that information instead of sort of like overcomplicating and trying to get a ton of info out of someone when they're trying to just quickly give their donation.
Oh, I love that. Now, Katie, listeners were promised five concrete actions. Like, what five moves can they make this quarter to boost participation and impact?
Okay, I would love to give you five. So the first one is education. So
Hmm.
if that starts from HR, let's go from HR. HR is going and they're educating their employees. If it's not coming from HR, go as an employee to your HR and
Right.
ask, what kind of education can we receive from you to learn about this? The next one is aligning values. So make sure those values align with the group that maybe your whole corporation has decided to partner with and give to. Make sure
Right.
those values align. Ease. So make sure you're going on and that's as easy as possible to get on and make that donation. I think the other thing that we really value is awareness. Do we have something close to our heart that we want to drive awareness to? This is
Right.
employee giving is a great way to do that because you can go in and sometimes talking about nonprofits is hard unless you have that segue in. So
Yeah.
that's a great way to raise awareness for something that's really close to your heart is having a campaign and maybe even at the beginning talking to HR and seeing if y'all can partner specifically with that group if it's really important to you. And number five, I would say is just healthy competition. So maybe having, interdepartmental competitions for who's raising the most,
Yeah.
each campaign, or maybe we're doing it quarter by quarter. So let's have some healthy competition and make it fun.
Yeah. I love that. Those are great answers. I love it. I love it. So tell us a little bit about your company and the services that you provide.
My company, StratusLIVE, we're a technology company. We've been built entirely around supporting nonprofits and organizations that work alongside them. Everything we develop is created with their challenges, workflows, and realities in mind. So from day one, our mission has been to equip those nonprofits with those tools to make things easier. So that's kind of like our biggest goal is to make sure that we're helping these nonprofits just have as smooth of a time with getting those donations as possible. And
Yeah.
we also just really pride ourselves on making sure that our customer service is top tier. Our clients are not a transactional, relationship to us. It's
Yeah.
like a true deep, camaraderie that we feel with our clients. And many of us within Stratus Live come from the nonprofit, just the space ourselves, whether it's working at
Yeah.
nonprofits or working at agencies that help nonprofits. Like a lot of us have just so much experience that what
Mhm.
we want and we desire is just like a better solution for nonprofits to have.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Now, where can people find you?
You can find us at Stratus Live. So, Stratus, it's spelled just like that. And we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram, Facebook. I would say we're most active on LinkedIn. You could email me if you would like to learn more. It's katie.wilson@stratuslive.com. If you want to learn more info, it's info@stratuslive.com. And you can check out our website. And I would love to hear from you. We have so many great ways that we're trying to really help make an impact in the nonprofit space.
I love that. I this has been amazing, Katie. I think you're a wonderful individual and I love what you're doing. I'm a very big advocate when it comes to helping people and I've worked since I can't even tell you decades for like with organizations and companies to improve the lives of others and it's such a great feeling when you can work together, with a company and they are able to make a difference. If you could help like one person it's just like an amazing feeling. It's just, and doing things like this really, it really brings a different look to the company. It really, you're not only are you helping the people that you're raising the awareness for and the fundraising that you're doing, but you're also, you're giving a whole new look, new feel about that company and what they represent and, the backbone, the caringness that they have. And I just love what your company does. And I think you're great. And the amount of awareness that you've shown today and the services that you and your company do are just outstanding. And I really think if companies aren't doing it, they should really take a step back and think about doing it. And that it's not that hard, especially when they partner with a company like yours. It's easy peasy, and I really, highly suggest for people out there that have businesses to really consider doing this, businesses, companies, corporations, because what a difference you can make. Even the littlest companies can make a big difference, It doesn't have to be a big corporation, it could be a little company. And it really, everything, every donation, everything that you do counts. And one life, one animal, one anything that you could change is big, So I congratulate you and your company for what you're doing, the care you put into it, the love you put into it, and I can see you're very compassionate about it. And today has been an honor. I thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this knowledge and sharing it to people how easy it is to make a change in this world. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacey, for having me. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, it's a pleasure speaking with you. You have a great day.
You too.